Juan Pujol Garcia was not a typical hero. He was a Spanish citizen. He managed a small hotel. He disliked extremism in all its forms. The Spanish Civil War had shown him the horrors of conflict. He developed a profound distaste for both fascism and communism. He believed he had to do something for humanity. He wanted to help the Allies during World War II. His initial offers to British intelligence were met with polite refusal. They did not see his potential. Undeterred, Garcia decided on a most audacious path. He would become a German spy first. Garcia moved to Lisbon, Portugal. This city was a known hub for spies. He approached the German intelligence service, the Abwehr. He offered his services as an agent. Remarkably, they accepted him. He had no training. He had no contacts in Britain. He began to invent intelligence. He used a tourist guidebook to Britain. He consulted maps and old railway timetables. He even gleaned details from newsreels shown in Spanish cinemas. His early reports were entirely fabricated. He claimed to be operating from Britain. In reality, he never left Portugal during this early phase of his spying career. His fabricated reports, though imaginative, contained errors. For instance, he reported on activities in Glasgow. He mentioned that the people there would do anything for a litre of wine. This was an unlikely observation for Scotland. Despite such slips, the Germans seemed to trust him. Eventually, British intelligence intercepted his communications. They realized a German agent codenamed Arabelle was sending reports from Britain, yet they had no record of such an agent. Intrigued, MI5, the British Security Service, tracked him down. In April 1942, they brought him to the United Kingdom. They saw the genius in his deception. They gave him the codename Garbo. Garbo became a key component of the double-cross system. This was a highly effective British counter-espionage operation. The system involved capturing German agents sent to Britain. These agents were then turned. They were persuaded or coerced into working for the British. They would send disinformation back to Germany. This information was carefully crafted by British intelligence. Garbo, however, was unique. He had approached the British himself. Already a trusted German agent, he was not turned. He was a volunteer of remarkable skill. He became the star of this intricate network of deception. His role would prove pivotal in the war. Once in Britain, Garbo, with MI5's assistance, greatly expanded his activities. His primary task was to build upon the Germans' trust. He did this by creating an entirely fictional network of sub-agents. He claimed to have recruited these individuals himself. Over time, this network grew to include 27 non-existent spies. Each phantom agent had a detailed backstory. They possessed unique personalities, motivations, and areas of operation. Garbo meticulously managed this cast of characters. He ensured their reports were consistent and believable. This elaborate construction required immense creativity and attention to detail. The Germans remarkably believed it all. The agents in Garbo's network were a diverse group. There was a disgruntled KLM pilot who supposedly provided information on Allied air movements. Another was a Venezuelan student in Dover, observing shipping activity. He even invented a Welsh nationalist leading a group of fascist sympathizers called the Brothers of the Aryan World Order. A Gibraltarian waiter working near key military installations in Chislehurst was another creation. Garbo wrote all their reports. These reports were a careful blend. Some contained easily verifiable harmless truths. Others included plausible fictions. Crucially, many contained specific pieces of disinformation the Allies wanted the Germans to believe. The communication of this intelligence was a performance in itself. Garbo would write the reports. His MI5 case officer, Thomas Harris, would then help prepare them for transmission to the Germans. These messages were sent via various means, including letters written in secret ink. Sometimes they used couriers traveling to neutral Lisbon. The Germans were so pleased with Garbo's work, they provided him with substantial funds. This money was intended to finance his network of spies. Of course, these spies did not exist. The funds were instead used by MI5 to support the double-cross operation. Garbo even submitted expense reports for his imaginary agents. The German Abwehr held Garbo in extremely high regard. They considered him their most valuable asset in Britain. His information was deemed reliable and crucial. They praised his diligence and the breadth of his intelligence gathering. His reports painted a comprehensive picture of Allied activities, albeit a false one. The Germans' faith in Garbo was so complete that they never suspected his allegiance. In July 1944, after the D-Day landings, they even awarded him the Iron Cross. This was a German military decoration. It was given for his supposed services to the Third Reich. He received it while actively working to destroy them. Operation Fortitude was one of the most ambitious deception plans of World War II. Its purpose was multifaceted. The most critical component was Fortitude South. This specific operation aimed to convince the German High Command of a critical falsehood. The Allies wanted Germany to believe that the main invasion of Nazi-occupied Europe would occur at Pas-de-Calais. This is the narrowest point of the English Channel. Normandy, the actual target, was to be presented as a mere diversionary attack. The success of D-Day depended heavily on the Germans falling for this elaborate ruse. Garbo and his network were central to making this happen. Garbo's phantom agents played their parts perfectly in Fortitude South. They began sending a stream of reports to their German handlers. These reports detailed a massive military build-up in southeastern England. This region, including Kent and Essex, directly faced Pas-de-Calais. The fictional 1st US Army Group, or FUSAG, was the centerpiece of this deception. Garbo's agents described its divisions, its equipment, and its readiness for invasion. They highlighted the presence of the famous American general, George S. Patton. Patton was known to the Germans as one of the Allies' best commanders. His supposed leadership of FUSAG lent credibility to the threat against Calais. FUSAG was, in reality, a ghost army. It existed only in radio signals and the imaginations of Garbo's agents. The Allies used ingenious props to support the illusion. They deployed inflatable rubber tanks. They constructed dummy landing craft from wood and canvas. They created fake airfields populated with model aircraft. Sophisticated fake radio traffic mimicked the communications of a real army group. Garbo's agents provided the human intelligence component. They sent messages filled with detailed observations of these phantom preparations. They reported troop movements, supply dumps, and embarkation exercises, all pointing towards Calais as the imminent invasion point. The German leadership, including Adolf Hitler himself, became thoroughly convinced. They believed that Pas-de-Calais was indeed the primary Allied target. Garbo's consistent and detailed reporting played a significant role in solidifying this belief. Intercepted German communications, deciphered by code breakers at Bletchley Park, confirmed their conviction. German intelligence analyses frequently cited Garbo's information as reliable. This unwavering trust in Garbo, an agent entirely controlled by their enemy, was a testament to his skill. It set the stage for a strategic surprise on D-Day. The Germans were looking in the wrong place, thanks to Garbo. On June 6, 1944, Allied forces stormed the beaches of Normandy. This was D-Day, the beginning of the liberation of Western Europe. As soldiers fought and died on the French coast, Garbo's mission entered its most critical phase. His immediate task was to reinforce the German belief that Normandy was not the main assault. He had to convince them that the landings were merely a feint. The larger, decisive blow was still to come, aimed at Pas-de-Calais. The success of this continued deception would be vital. It would prevent the Germans from rapidly reinforcing their troops in Normandy. Garbo and his MI5 handlers worked tirelessly. On D-Day itself, Garbo sent urgent messages to his German contacts. He explained that his network had provided information about the Normandy landings. However, he cleverly arranged for this specific message to be delayed. It arrived too late for the Germans to act upon it effectively. This apparent failure actually enhanced his credibility. It made him seem like a dedicated agent who had tried his best. He then followed up with reports strongly asserting that the Normandy invasion was a diversion. He insisted FUSAG was still poised to strike at Calais. The impact of Garbo's deception was profound. Hitler remained convinced that Calais was the true target for several crucial weeks. He held back powerful German divisions, including the entire 15th Army and vital panzer tank divisions. These forces were stationed in the Pas-de-Calais region. They were kept there, waiting for an invasion that would never materialize. This strategic error gave the Allies invaluable time. They were able to secure their fragile beachheads in Normandy. They consolidated their forces and began their advance into France. Without those German reinforcements, the Allied foothold became stronger each day. Juan Pujol Garcia, the spy codenamed Garbo, performed an extraordinary service. His elaborate web of lies directly contributed to the Allied victory. He fooled the highest levels of German intelligence and Hitler himself. For his efforts, he received the Member of the Order of the British Empire, MBE, from Britain. This was in addition to the Iron Cross unknowingly awarded by the Germans. After the war, fearing Nazi retribution, Garbo faked his own death. He lived quietly in Venezuela for many years. His story is a remarkable testament to the power of individual ingenuity and the strategic impact of well-executed deception in wartime. He was truly the spy who fooled Hitler.